All right, can you all hear me now? Can you see me now? Let me know if y'all can see me and hear me at this point. I was having some technical issues here. Okay, great. Awesome. Okay, I was afraid we were going to have a real issue there. Yeah, I was just talking and talking. Better late than never. Okay. So for whatever reason, when I started the stream, it streamed for a second and then stopped, and then I tried to restart it, and I think the chat was still going, but the feed was not there. Okay, well, now I guess the stream has officially started. I'll read some chat messages, and I asked the Discord, and I asked some other people, do you guys want to play a game tonight? And the consensus was, let's just do a quick Q&A, and we can talk about recent content developments and upcoming content, and I can update you all, and of course read your chat messages. That's always fun. So let's see. Thank you all for telling me that the stream is working now. John Smith and Midnight Kitten and Gabby and Bam Music and Makarov and Jaden Sharp all telling me that they can see me. Miss T, Gabby again, Audetect, Brian Hicks. I appreciate it. I didn't know what was going on there. Pixel Replays, good to see you as well. Chat's updating. I'm in a little bit of a different spot this time, and the network's been good, but if that changes, then I'll try to switch connections. All right. Samantha Robinson, thank you. Daniel Davenroy, nice to see you. Jaden Sharp, already in with the questions. Principal Prickly or Warts? That's a tough one. Prickly from Recess, which if you saw my community poll, about 2,000 people have voted, and Recess seems to have won that poll. Now, I'll do other ones. So if you're a big Victorious fan, there's still hope, but I will tell you that I reacted to the pilot episode of Victorious, if you're a fan of that show, and edited it and uploaded it last night, and it's having some copyright issues. There was a dispute. They wouldn't budge on it, so I appealed it. So I don't know if I would have been able to do much Victorious anyway, but we'll see. So the question, Principal Prickly or Warts? I would say Prickly. They're both not great, but I would probably go Prickly over Warts. Is this a Krusty Krab? User 01414. And then you say, no, it's Patrick. Or no, in my case, it's Brandon. Salty is here. Thanks for modding. Chelsea T is here. William Gaines is here. Santi Enriquez. I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well too. We've got 37 of us here, and more people are coming in. Usually these streams hover around 40 to 60 people, which is totally fine. All right. Let me find my place in the chat and keep on going. And if I run out of messages, I can tell you what's going on with some of my content right now. I kind of did that on the last stream, which was, 2 weeks ago? 1 week ago? 2 weeks ago? Tyler Caswell is here. DeLuna Arts doing his thing. Walking out of something when he gets the notification. Santi Enriquez, thanks for the compliment about the SpongeBob. Alex, yep, happy Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. Very excited about that. Audetect, hey, Principal Brandon, I have a great idea. Why don't you just give your students detention if they don't subscribe? Yeah, that would not work. Samantha Robinson, love your videos. You should cover the show as told by Ginger. That does get recommended sometimes. Not a ton, but enough for me to at least write it down. Turner Winstead, you still taking Christmas ideas? Yeah, very much so. There's a bunch of them in the comments of that particular community post that I still have to write down So if you made a comment and I haven't done anything with it yet, it's because I'm saving it deliberately so that I can jot it down. JFL 1988, love your videos, first time chatter. Glad you're here on the stream. Thanks for joining us. Would you ever review The Jungle Book? If enough people request it, but no one's actually asked for that. Pixel Replays, what got you into doing reactions? Many of you have heard this story before, but I'll tell the short version again. So, not long after the pandemic, I got back into watching reaction videos. I like that myself, but I don't really like random people reacting. I got really into Dr. Mike because he reviews medical scenes from movies and TV shows. Legal Eagle, back when it was a good channel. Sorry if you like that channel. Used to be good. He would review legal scenes from movies. 7-4 Gear, which is a channel that does the same thing, but for aviation. And then I'm like, well, surely YouTube's so big, there's going to be a principal that does the same thing. I searched for it. It didn't exist. So then I'm like, maybe I could do that. So I was actually a vice principal or an assistant principal at that time. Once I became principal after a year or two, I started the channel, and the rest is history. So there's your answer. JFL, Smallville. Yeah, I may look at Smallville at some point. Those of you that were on the last stream saw that comment where the person spelled out or wrote out the entire, they made the Superman logo with the little pixelated, I don't even know what they're called. They're really just in the emoji section, but they're just colored tabs. All right. Santi Enriquez, totally love Victorious, but keep up the good work. I see a donation. Who is that? I'm going to skip directly to that message like I always do. Key with the $4.99 donation. I really appreciate it. You become a big part of the channel, Key. Key says, do you take requests for school-related shows that are for preschoolers? Yeah. I mean, as long as it's clean, that's my only real requirement. So, yeah, I absolutely can do that. I think someone mentioned Bluey School before. I'm not sure if that's the one you're going to suggest. Let me scroll back up. Thanks again, Key, for that donation. I really, really appreciate it. Let's see. Here's where I was. Nick B, will you ever react to That's What I Am Amazing School movie? I'm not familiar with it. Makarov, can't wait for your Christmas ideas. They're really your ideas. Everything I did last Christmas was pretty much viewer suggested, and I had so many suggestions. I still have some from last year that I didn't quite get to, because for Christmas, I really only do, a few weeks worth, 2 or 3 weeks worth of Christmas-related content. Jaden Sharp, have you ever experienced a student fight and had to break one up? Yes, it's a very ugly thing. So in the most recent school where I was principal, they didn't have a lot of fights, but every once in a while they did. And yes, I've broken them up before. The one before that, where I was an assistant principal, was at a really rough school, and I had to break them up every day, unfortunately. Sometimes more than once a day. Unfortunately, I did have to do that. Midnight Kitten, hope we can still see some Fillmore. Yeah, even though it might not be the replacement for Ned's because of the poll, I will still do Fillmore. I wouldn't mind doing all of them eventually, but it might not be every single week. A lot of people really liked Fillmore. Mr. ASAP, teacher asks a question. Teacher, whoever answers my next question can go home. Jimmy throws his bag out the window. Who just threw that? Yeah, kind of a setup. And I don't know that would fly, so to speak, but that's pretty funny. Jaden Sharp, Mr. Comeover or Mr. Gibson? Oh, the band teacher. I don't know. I might say Comeover just because he's so whimsical. Mr. Gibson was kind of dry until he completely transformed at the end of the episode. Let's see. Joseph, thanks for being a channel member. What subject did you teach before becoming a principal? I'm going to guess history. Actually, I was a music teacher / band director. That's what I did, instrumental music. Gabby is back and happy to be here. Hopefully class went well for you. Makarov, this is a weird question, but are trench coats banned for students at your school? I don't know if they're specifically mentioned. Believe it or not, principals do have to look stuff up in the handbook sometimes if it's not something that happens a lot. They may be. I would have to check. A lot of places don't allow them. Honestly, though, I've never seen that a whole lot. I don't know. They're not really in style. I don't know a lot of students who have tried to do that. In fact, I can't think of a time a student ever tried to wear a trench coat. Salty, travels have been good. JFL, subscribed. Always appreciate my subscribers. I hope you enjoy my content. Smallville should be recommended. A few people have recommended it. Brodiger Gamer, can't wait to see your Monsters University reaction. I watched that film a lot. So that one will be this Saturday, I believe. So 2 days from now, more like 1.5 days, you'll be able to see that. If you're a channel member, you have it already. Let's see. JFL, especially when Clark is in high school. Jared Cook, on Halloween, do your students get to wear costumes at school? I've been, and I think I see another donation. I've been at schools where they allow it, or they try to like have maybe a little costume contest, but there are rules to that. William Armstrong, 5437. I'm going to skip to his message because he donated $5, which I appreciate. He says, "Hi, Brandon. I have a question for you. Do you know some students and or staff members know of your channel?" Honestly, not many of them. There are a small number of students and an even smaller number of staff members that know about it, but it's not because I've told them. In fact, I never, ever talk about it when I'm working. To most people, they would never know it existed unless they randomly found it on the internet. So thank you, William Armstrong, for the donation. Really appreciate that and the question as well. Let me scroll back up to see where I was in the chat. Alex Gillis, could you imagine having someone like Jen Drake? No, I couldn't. He would probably be fired pretty quickly. I have met people like that in education. They don't tend to last very long at all. Tyler Caswell, what shows do you have planned for this week? Just to ask. Well, this week, if you mean tomorrow and Saturday, you probably already know that I'm doing One Crab's Trash from SpongeBob and Monsters University tomorrow, if you meant this week. I meant Saturday, not tomorrow. William Gaines, or maybe you meant what I'm filming or what I just filmed this week. If that's what you meant, I filmed the reaction to Victorious, Season 1, Episode 1. Unfortunately, it's locked up in copyright dispute. I did part of the finale for Ned's, and I did it in the Principal Krubs costume that I got. If you're on Discord, you know what I'm talking about. Thanks to Ricky Rax, channel member. I also made a great little short that I'll put out there on October 29th or 30th of me. It's only 5 seconds long, but it's me in this Principal Krubs outfit with sunglasses. I have the sunglasses over. They're like across the table from me. I can't quite reach them. But I'm wearing them, and you have the Krubs music going on, and then I take the sunglasses off real fast, just like he does in the show. What else did I do? I think I did Planet of the Jellyfish, SpongeBob. I think that's all I've filmed this week. Okay, let's keep going. William Gaines, would you ever review Darman? Maybe. It depends on how crazy his videos get. JFL, do you Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, lots of high school scenes? I have done one. I think it's a members-only video, but there is one on the channel. Midnight Kitten, I enjoyed watching Dr. Mike react to House. I did too. I've seen those videos as well. They're pretty good. Pixel replays, so people who have a specific point of view. Jaden Sharp, what do you think of Zoo Atlanta and the Georgia Aquarium? I haven't been to Zoo Atlanta in years. I did sort of grow up around that area, but I don't live there anymore. And I try to avoid Atlanta because the traffic is so horrendously horrible. The Georgia Aquarium, I know a lot of people who've been there that say it's great. I've never been, actually, believe it or not. It's supposed to be really kind of mind-blowing. Brian Hicks, are you open to Thanksgiving requests? Absolutely. Samantha Robinson, yeah, Darman has some crazy school videos. Pixel replays, I'm happy it worked out for you. Turner Winstead, do MLP best gift ever. Put it in the comments of the My Little Pony video, and I will see it and write it down. JFL, also Power Rangers has Mr. Chaplin. Okay. Mandy Z, hello, Brandon. How's the SpongeBob Shanghai? They did release it about a week ago. On one of the last streams, I did mention that Shanghai, the SpongeBob episode that I had planned to release on Halloween, was locked in copyright dispute, but they did release the claim on that, so it is fine now. I get to be a ghost pirate. If you, I may show you I can show you the thumbnail for it real quick. I thought it was, usually I don't get too carried away or too worked up with the thumbnails. I thought this one was particularly good. Let's see if I can show it to you. You see there, I get to be a ghost pirate on there. I thought that was pretty neat. But yes, they did clear it, and so it will be out on October 31st. Okay, so let me keep reading. Okay. JFL, that's so Raven is another good one. Christian Woe. Any Jimmy Neutron, Futurama, or Amanda Snow episodes? Yeah, if enough people request it. I do get Jimmy Neutron quite a bit. Nick, the movie is clean enough. I saw it in school. Salty, my thermometer broke, and this weird liquid came out. Not sure what it is, but it tastes amazing, and I'm guessing that he's kidding about that. Sonic fan, I just did a practice drive with my mom to the local grocery store. I'm guessing you're learning to drive or practicing driving, and that's really cool. Santi Enriquez, hey Brandon, in your post you did for Christmas ideas, I gave you a list of SpongeBob episodes to react to. Everyone I said are suggestions to help you out. Okay, well, if you put it there, and it may be that I deliberately left it because I find that if I comment on it and I'm not ready to take it down, then I lose the comment because it doesn't pop up in my feed. I get a feed of comments that are unresponded to by me, and so I left it there on purpose so that I could write it down at a later point. But thank you for those. Jaden Sharp, would you rather spend a day with Cookie or Ned? Ned, 100%. Cookie used to be pretty good. He's awful. He's absolutely awful. And at this point, I have actually watched everything except for the last half of the finale. So sadly, I've almost seen the whole entire series, and then there'll be nothing for me to do, and just wait for the rest of the videos to come out and then plan more Tuesday content after Ned's. But yeah, Cookie is pretty horrendous. He lies, he manipulates, he just does not care. Makarov, what do teachers normally have to do when a student has a mental breakdown? Depends on how bad it is. Depends on what the behaviors are. So at minimum, they may walk over and just speak quietly to the student in a way that nobody else can really hear, or call them over to their desk, or they may ask them to step outside with them. If they're past that point and they can't control themselves, they're going to call for an administrator. They're going to call the front office and call for an administrator and maybe the counselor, and then they're going to come down and remove that student from the class and take them to the counselor's office and call their parents. That's what would happen. Gabby says, I got a haircut yesterday. I wanted it shorter, but my hairdresser said, you will look like Dora the Explorer. Okay. Like, do you mean that you wanted it shorter, but the hairdresser said no because you'll look like Dora if you get it shorter? I'm guessing that's what you meant. And I'm guessing, I don't know what the outcome was. You'll have to let me know. Brodiger Gamer says, I can't wait to see your Monsters University reaction. Yep, Saturday about 12 or 1 p.m. Eastern. Jack Moon. Hello there, Brandon. I'm loving your videos. No question tonight. Keep up the good work. I appreciate it, Jack. Jaden Sharp, Mr. Wright or Mr. Feeney? These are some good questions. I can tell he put some thought into it. Mr. Wright or Mr. Feeney? That's tough. I would say probably Mr. Feeney because he's a little bit more realistic and honestly a better teacher, but they're both good. Brian Hicks, the cartoon series Real Monsters is set as an academy for monster students. I had heard of that show before, but I did not honestly know what it was. And the chat just loaded a ton of new messages. Sometimes when my connection isn't great, it'll kind of stall out and then it'll load a whole bunch of them all at once. So let me keep going. And by the way, William Armstrong, thanks again for the $5 donation. I appreciate it. Nintendrovert, haven't seen you in a while. I remember a kid who wore a trench coat my senior year of high school. He was kind of out there. Yeah, a lot of schools do ban them. I honestly don't know because I've never even had to check because no one's ever worn it to my knowledge. Gabby, what year did you graduate high school? I graduated high school in 2001, quite a while ago, 2001. Alt K4B, thanks for being a channel member. Back then in high school, they made us pay to wear costumes in the school, and that does happen. You do have certain events, like if it's a fundraiser, you might have a group that's trying to raise money. User 01414, if you could dress up as anyone for Halloween, who would you dress up as? Well, you're going to see in the short that I put out, it's only 5 seconds long, but it's me as Mr. Krubs. And in fact, since you guys are on the stream, I might even show it to you. I think I remember how to do that. Pull this other window I've got to the side onto the screen. Why not? I'll show it to you. And then I may or may not do it. I may share an older photo of me at a previous school where I'm dressed as, it's a bunch of teachers and we're all dressed up as something. And I think I was a Jedi Knight and I have like a brown robe and like a hood over my head. I don't have a lightsaber, but it doesn't look, and I have the beard, of course, still. So I kind of look Jedi Knight-ish. One of the good Jedi Knights, not the dark side. All right. A skeleton trapped in a man's body. Couldn't read it. Back in my day, costumes were permitted, but face paint and masks were not. Yeah, that's very common. Also, we had to wear ID lanyards all the time because, unfortunately, like my student council used to come to me and say, hey, can we do this? Can we do that? And half the time I would tell them. Sometimes I'd just say yes. There'd be no issue. If there was an issue in my mind, I would tell them, if everybody behaved like you guys did, it would be fine, right? And the same thing for like masks and face paint, because there's always somebody that ruins it and does something stupid and causes a huge issue. Like everything in school that's banned is because of someone like that just ruined it for everyone. Jack Moon, ours would go to helping people afford prom. Okay, so a fundraiser to help people out with that. Turner Winstead, can teachers assign consequences to students for accidentally leaving a folder in another room? That'd be tough to do. You would have to basically be able to prove or have some evidence that it wasn't an accident, and in that case, maybe. William Armstrong, how come you don't allow cussing on your channel? A bunch of reasons. Number one, I just don't like it. And number two, I do still work in education, and so I have to be really careful about what kind of things are allowed on my channel. But even if I were allowed to do that, I really wouldn't want it. I just don't like profanity. Makarov, I remember back then when my nephew was in middle school, he mentioned that 2 students dressed as 2 real-life criminals in school for Halloween, and I'm like, how did they not get in trouble? It depends on, I guess, who it was. Like, if you're dressing like Billy the Kid, I mean, yeah, he was a criminal, but probably going to get away with it. Not like a modern-day criminal that's, I don't know. It depends on who it was, probably. Jack Moon, is Discord for members only? Yes, it is, but if you're really interested, send me a DM on either Facebook or Instagram, etc. JFL, did you see the new Superman movie? I didn't, but I heard it was really, really good. I know a lot of people who did see it. Gabby says, I can't quite reach them. More like I'm busy streaming and that can wait. Actually, I can't. They are on the other side of this table that I'm sitting at. There they are. Let's see. Okay. There they are. So, yes, I put on the sunglasses, and you can imagine me with Principal Krub's outfit. It's pretty good. All right. So, yes, I did really have them. All right. Connor Thompson says, love your channel. I'm anxiously awaiting more My Little Pony and Avatar Last Airbender. Are you planning on doing any more of those soon? I'm especially interested in the Chakra episode. I am planning on it. A bunch of people asked for the episode The Deserter, which I plan on doing. And if you like Avatar The Last Airbender on my channel, you can basically thank Principal's office level member Kaimani Burrell. I don't know if he's here or not. I haven't seen his screen name yet, or his username or his handle or whatever. But you can thank him for that. And a bunch of people requested The Deserter, but they spelled it wrong, many of them. They spelled it Desserter. And I'm like, is it just a guy who likes ice cream or something? But no, of course not. It's the other kind. All right. Nintendrovert. Born Again Crabs is a funny episode. I've got that one on my list. It's pretty high up. Midnight Kitten. Have you seen the movie Weapons yet, perchance? No. If so, well, I haven't, so I can't answer the next one. Jason De La Rosa. Has anyone asked you how long you worked as a principal and how long did you make that? And how did you make that custom James K. Polk Middle School shirt? I worked as a building principal for 4 years. Before that, I was an assistant principal or vice principal, like Krubs calls himself, at 2 different schools, one for 3 years and one for 2 years. Before that, I spent 3 years as a district office person. I worked at the Central Board of Education. And then before that, I spent eight and a half years as a teacher. Okay. Let's see. The shirt I just bought. I just ordered it from a shirt company. There's like a bajillion polo shirt companies where you can send in a custom design and they'll make it for you. Ricky Rax is here. JFL, you should do Supernatural. Jaden Sharp, Jack Black, or Adam Sandler. I will say Adam Sandler, and the reason that I say that is for a period of time I was in the Savannah, Georgia area, which is on the coast of Georgia, and they do a lot of filming for movies there. And Adam Sandler, I saw him quite a few times there in Savannah. And one thing I noticed about him versus all the other stars that were there is he is really, really down to earth. Now, to be fair, I don't know. I've never met Jack Black, never seen him in real life. So he might be just as down to earth. But Adam Sandler, he is like you see him in his movies. Totally down to earth. He'll talk to any random person. He doesn't care. A lot of the other stars that were in the area at that time were really not that way. And that's all I'll say. So Adam Sandler all the way. Brian Hicks, the Kenyan, I think you meant Keenan and Kel episode Turkey Day. Okay. Jason De La Rosa, how can I make a custom James K. Polk shirt? All you got to do is order it from one of those shirt companies. You may have to get the logo from somewhere, though. Gold says, good evening, sir. It's SpongeBob Friday tomorrow. It most certainly is. Chels T, are you reacting to more Kim Possible? Would you consider watching Twilight? As long as the viewers suggest it. Both of those shows don't get a ton of suggestions from people. So if more people suggest it, I will do it. Nintendrovert, do you make your own thumbnails? I am really horrible at that. I pay other people to make the thumbnails for me. Jaden Sharp, but the same person has made them for probably over a year now. If you notice, he has kind of the same style, and he does a really good job. Jaden Sharp, you should watch Season 2, Episode 11 of Family Matters called Requiem for an Urkel. I do remember Family Matters quite well. Jason De La Rosa, hey, have you reacted to Lizzie McGuire. I haven't, but it does get recommended sometimes. It is on my list. It's just not really high up. Santi Enriquez, good for you, Brandon. I loved the SpongeBob episode, Shanghai. It's my favorite. Well, October 31st, you're going to get it. Channel members will get it this Sunday morning. A skeleton trapped in a man's body. If you had to hire a member of faculty from the Nicktoons lineup, regardless of how bad they tend to be, what teacher would you hire? And I don't know if Ned's and all the other ones. You know who I would hire is, I don't know if it's Nick, but it's the Mr. Hunter, or is it Hunter? The younger teacher from Boy Meets World is who I would hire. He was really good. Mandy Z, what episode of SpongeBob was recorded last Friday? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Which one was recorded last Friday? If you mean published last Friday, I believe it was Sandy's Rocket. But keep in mind that I filmed these videos on just whenever I have time, not necessarily on Friday. I may say in the video that it's Friday only because I know it's publishing on Friday, but it might not actually be Friday. Jason De La Rosa, have you worked as a principal in any other U.S. state? No, not really. There was a time in my life where I did do some interviewing in Florida, and I got part of the way to being credentialed in the state of Florida. I still can do that. I could do that if I wanted to, because of interstate reciprocity and rules about that. However, my retirement is dependent on me working in Georgia, so I will probably stay in Georgia until I retire, which is a minimum of probably 8 to 9 years from now. Good question. John Smith, Jimmy Neutron is better than Dexter. Fight me. Feels pretty passionately about that. Gold, I do look forward to the Shanghai reaction. Yep, I hope more people do as well. Jason De La Rosa, have you reacted to Littlest Pet Shop? I have not. Ricky Rax, how do you like the field trip episode so far? And I have to give Ricky Rax some credit. He's been a big part of the channel over there at not UCLA. I always thought he was at UCLA. It was I don't know. I don't remember the name of the school. Ricky Rax, I'm sorry. It's one of the big state schools, but it's because of him that I got the Krubs outfit and did the episode in the outfit. I did the actual reaction video to the last one in the Krubs outfit. I did like it, but I realized like midway through that I had already blown through like 50% of the entire thing. I wasn't supposed to do that, so that may affect the schedule. JFL, Supernatural with Sam and Dean Winchester. Okay. DeLuna Arts, hey, does the brown noise exist? And do you know what note it is? Like a certain, I've never heard of that. I doubt there's anything to that. I really do. I know what you're asking. Brian Hicks, the Hey Arnold Thanksgiving special. Connor Thompson, there's channels that talk about history and some teachers have used them in classrooms. Would you ever consider reviewing episodes from Oversimplified, Simple History, Armchair Historian? I have seen all three of those channels. They're very good. Yes, I would be glad to review those. And yeah, I have seen them used in real-life classrooms as well. Also, Crash Course, which is John Green's thing that he does. Jason De La Rosa, there is one Littlest Pet Shop episode, Inside Job. Okay. Samantha Robinson, my cat unfortunately passed away yesterday. He had cancer and had to be put down. I'm sorry to hear that. And I just lost my place in the chat. Have to scroll up to get it again. Sorry, I've got a lot to get through. So much. It loaded a whole bunch of chat messages. Okay, wow. I may have to start skipping stuff again. Okay, Makarov, most excited MLP holiday episode. Hearth Swarming Eve. Yeah, someone else mentioned that one. Should a college professor ever give out their personal phone number? What do you think? No, JFL. Which the ethical standards may be a little bit different for college professors, but no, you really can't do that. There's still strict ethical standards you have to go by. I did not react to Inside Out, Jason De La Rosa. What's my favorite music? I like classical. I like jazz. I like electronic dance music as well. Makarov, I made ghost brownies. I don't know what that is. Is that like brownies with like a ghost design? I'm assuming that's what you mean. Sounds good. Jaden says Feeney. Jack Moon Feeney. That was a new one. Jason De La Rosa, what college did you go to? I've been to 3 different colleges. All of them were in the state of Georgia. I'll leave it at that. Jaden Sharp, I recommended this play Papa Louie games. Okay. JFL, did you ever go to college? How did the pandemic affect you during high school? Yes, I went to college. That would be pretty bad if I taught high school and became a principal and never even went to college. Yes, I went to 3 different colleges. I don't mind sharing that with you. There's no reason not to share that. So I attended Clayton State University, which is in the Atlanta area. I attended Georgia College and State University is the full name. That's in Milledgeville, Georgia. I also did one of my degrees at Valdosta State University, which is in the south central part of the state. I don't see any reason not to share that. Jason De La Rosa, did you ever work in television or live in Atlanta? No, nothing like that. The only thing close to that is I did do some TV interviews related to my different roles as a principal or assistant principal. I got quite good at that. I got to where I liked to do that. So if something was happening, good or bad, that the news wanted to interview someone on, I did do that. Let's see. Yanira Garcia, did you block me from your channel because I'm unable to join? I did not block you, to my knowledge. I don't think it's because of us. User, just an emoji. KVNG Wolfpack channel member. I know you probably answered this question a million times, but what got you into doing reaction? So I said it a minute ago. Basically, I got into reaction videos myself, into watching them, and then one day I searched for, principal reacts to, whatever. I was just trying to find it, and I assumed it would be there because there's a bajillion videos on YouTube, but it didn't exist. It literally did not exist. So a couple years after that, I started the channel. I started at first just learning about it, and I would watch YouTube videos about how to make reaction videos, what kind of gear I needed, what kind of setup I needed, and then one day I recorded my first video. Jason De La Rosa, did you work in music as an instrument player for a band? I guess technically, yes. I played some in college, and I did get paid for that. So I guess technically, yes. And yeah, sometimes I'll shorten your usernames just for time. Shock, first time here on the stream, welcome. Because it's 1 a.m. here in Germany, and I'm going to sleep soon. Just wanted to say I love your reactions, and I'm always hyped to see your SpongeBob, Ned's, and Fillmore reactions. I appreciate it. I appreciate you staying up late for us, if only briefly. I do like all of my international viewers. Salty, and I can see I'm really behind now. Obi-Wan, Brandon Kenobi. Yeah, I'll show that to you sometime. Trevor Beast, I'd love to see you dressed up as Vice Principal Krubs. Before the end of the stream, I will show that to you. I don't mind doing that. Give you a little preview of that. All right. Let's see. Everyone is wrong except me. Says, please explain how Bob's Burgers is read out as Bob is Burgers, or how it isn't read out. Okay. Aaron Wachukwu, would you live premiere the finale? Yeah, I might. I was thinking about that. I might live premiere it, especially because it may happen during the Christmas holidays, and so that would make it easier for me to do that as well. Connor Thompson, anime such as My Hero Academia and My Dress Up Darling often include episode arcs involving sports festivals. Okay, yeah, and I want to go back to My Hero Academia at some point. Jason De La Rosa, what if students leave their coats in school after dismissal? Yeah, they usually get taken to a lost and found. I got suspended twice in high school for talking about inappropriate subjects. Yeah, that will do it. A skeleton trapped in a man's body. How did you train yourself to avoid profanity when speaking around kids? Well, it sort of helped that I never really started using really heavy profanity. It's not a habit that I really had to break, per se. I'm trying to work on it and have been for a while, but it's a second nature, so I constantly find myself. Yeah, it takes time. It's going to take time, but if you continue to work on that, it'll eventually phase itself out. I think your brain kind of just develops those patterns, and so eventually you can kind of undo that. Connor Thompson, Lizzie McGuire is a good series to review because it takes place mostly in school. Caddy Crashy, have you watched any Addams Family show or movie? Because I saw that you did a reaction to Wednesday. I haven't, but I've thought about it, and there's a few episodes that are on my list, actually. Gold, a friend of mine dressed up as Ted Bundy once for Halloween from Married with Children. Jason De La Rosa, I'm a 7th year high school graduate. Okay, well, graduating is the most important thing. Makarov, those two students I mentioned win my... Okay. Miguel, hola, Director Brandon, how have you been? Yo he estado muy bien. Si quieres que te responda en español, lo puedo hacer, claro. Yo siempre me gusta cuando tengo la oportunidad de hablar español con alguien. Entonces, gracias. Jason, nice shades. Yanira Garcia from your Juan Mejia. Yeah, I remember Juan Mejia. If you are Juan Mejia, yes, I did block you. And the reason why I blocked you is because you admitted to basically stealing my members-only content. That account sent me a message or posted a comment saying that they had that they would just join the membership, watch one of my videos, and then try to get a refund from Apple or Google or YouTube or whomever, however they got the membership. YouTube, I don't know why I said that. But yes, I did block that account because of it was stealing my members-only content. All right. Gabby, yep, the sunglasses. I really did have them. Turner, did you know that not only John Delancey was on MLP, but also William Shatner, Weird Al, and Patton Oswalt? Someone did tell me that. Jason De La Rosa, Krubs out. Nintendrovert, you need a Krubs flamingo. Yeah. Samantha Robinson, hey Brandon, what was your worst school prank you ever saw? Our school had a student set a trash can on fire to distract the vice principal while someone broke into his office. That is pretty bad. I think I shared with you all one time there was a senior prank that they like defaced the inside of the school and put like deer urine and stuff all over the place. Those students were actually not allowed to walk at graduation. It was that bad. All right, I'm going to have to skip some. JFL requests Superman, okay. Tyler Caswell, are you excited for Halloween and do you have any bloopers? No, unfortunately, no bloopers. Nintendrovert, I'll get to Battle for Bikini Bottom at some point. Miguel, react to Rugrats all grown up. Makarov, so basically if you're, the real life criminals thing. The Columbine shooters, yeah. I don't know how they didn't get in trouble for that. My suspicion would be that the adults did not quite realize what they were, and they may have, if they were smart, they would have said, "Oh no, I'm not dressing as that." Jamal Sampson, you're the best. I appreciate it. JFL requesting Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I think it already exists on the channel. I'm pretty sure. You have to go back to the very beginning of the channel. Lathon Lopez, Nightmare Cafeteria from The Simpsons. Hungry for lunch. Are you a goofy goober? Yeah, I think I would have to say yes with as much SpongeBob as I have watched at this point. I don't know how I went my entire life only having seen one episode of SpongeBob, but somehow I did. Jason, the Sandy Hook shootings, I definitely remember that vividly. I remember exactly where I was when that happened. I was working in a school at the time. That was awful. Lathan Lopez, can you tell us your birthday? No, I'm not going to go quite that far. Maybe someday. User 01414, do you have any tips for high schoolers? Any tips at all? Stay out of trouble. Don't try not to allow yourself to be manipulated by other people into doing things. Keep up with your assignments. Have a system like Ned from Ned's Declassified talks about. And then please let somebody know if someone's being bullied. That's probably the biggest thing. If you feel like they didn't do anything about it, just go to the next level. Don't get all bent out of shape. Just go on to the next level, and you will get that problem solved. Okay, random account. Didn't know you were live. I am live. Lathan Lopez, do Wayside. John Smith, Keenan and Kel. Keenan of Keenan and Kel is Keenan Thompson from SNL, okay? Minspective, channel member. What is your favorite all-time show? Favorite all-time show? I don't really know. There's so many of them out there. I don't really have a favorite. Gabby says, stay focused. Learn as much as you can. Don't beat yourself up about it. Yeah, all that is very true as well, and good advice. Salty, I remember seeing a video of Adam Sandler wanting to go to lunch with his daughter and was told there was going to be a long wait and couldn't seat them. He wasn't a jerk about it. Yeah, he really was just... Adam Sandler in real life acts just like a regular guy. He really does. A lot of the movie stars do not act like that. Samantha Robinson says, yes, Twilight. Jason De La Rosa, more about Keenan and Kel. Salty says, didn't flaunt his celebrity status. Yeah, yep. A lot of people do flaunt their celebrity status, and it's kind of disgusting. Jaden Sharp, Durga or Mr. Quest? I'll go Durga. She's a little bit more positive, and I haven't seen her do many things that are very shady. Random account, I think you should do Wayside, okay? Jason De La Rosa, funniest scene of Ned's Declassified. I'm sort of biased towards the most recent ones because I remember them more. The parties one was pretty funny. The one that just came out, that one was really, really funny. A specific scene from that, the house getting burned down from Cookie Dancing, that was pretty funny. Some of Seth's lines from that episode were pretty funny as well. All right. Makarov, he's talking to somebody else. Gabby says, pregunta, si tuvieras que aprender otro idioma aparte de inglés y español, ¿cuál sería? Yes, thank you for the translation. Gracias por la traducción, pero no lo necesité. Pero gracias. Yo puedo leer el español muy bien, pero mi problema es entenderlo. Cuando un hispanohablante habla muy rápidamente, especialmente un hablador nativo, es muy difícil para entender. Pero puedo leer perfectamente bien. Es lo más fácil para mí. Anyway, I guess I would say the one that I've sort of picked up that I find really interesting, which is Chinese Mandarin. So I know basic Mandarin. I don't know a whole lot of Mandarin. I know just a little bit. Let me see if my Mandarin is still worth anything. So I'm going to get up Google Translate, and I'm going to see if I can do, I just have Google Translate up. It's on Mandarin. For me, it is 7:52 p.m. Let's see if I can do it. 现在是7:52. Oh, it's doing English to Chinese. Sorry, I have to switch it. I have to switch it to Chinese. It was trying to read what I said in English. Didn't work. All right, so it's still 7:52. Let me try it again. 现在是7:52.
It is now 7:52.
Yeah, got it. And in the Chinese,
现在是7:52.
Yeah, that's what I said in Chinese. So really, I just know times, dates, some basic words, really, really basic stuff. Now, Spanish, I consider myself fluent, but Mandarin, I do know some basic Mandarin. So espero que esta contestó tu tu pregunta. Ando todo el día hablando el inglés también y a veces mi lengua no quiere actualmente pronunciar las palabras en español. Requiere un momento. All right, continuing on. Mandy Z, what SpongeBob episode is December 12th? Do you know? December 12th. Tentatively, it's Planet of the Jellyfish, but that may change depending on how much Christmas stuff I do. Right now, tentatively, and I say that because that's right at the end of what I'm scheduling right now, Planet of the Jellyfish. All right. Turner Winstead, what was your favorite reaction to the death of Ozzy Osbourne? I didn't have a huge reaction to that other than, of course, being sorry that someone died. I didn't have a huge reaction other than that. I know who both of those people are, but I wasn't like huge fans. User, I love hearing Principal Brandon speak Spanish. Yo también lo disfruto hacer porque en mi vida cotidiana no lo puedo hacer a menudo. Lathan Lopez, do the Loud House or Casa Grandes. Okay. In Nintendrovert, my Jim Parker's a monkey. Okay. Thank you for the recommendation. UC San Diego. Sorry, Ricky Rax. And that was a long time ago. I'm getting really behind. I'm going to have to skip some stuff or else this stream will just never end until all you guys leave. Let's see. Crossover Bunch Show. Can you do Little Yellow Book from SpongeBob? Yes, that is on the list. Tyler Caswell, Rugrats. I'll eventually do it. There's just a lot for me to do right now. Lathan, do movie Front of the Class. Okay. John Smith, Supernatural episode in the 4th season. Okay. Lathan Lopez, maybe you can do a pup named Scooby-Doo. Gabby, 2 hours later. Yep. Stephen Turquoise, channel member. Just finished my Chick-fil-A and I'm on my way to bowling. Thanks for letting us know. Hope you enjoy it. Lathan Lopez, Ross dated his student on Friends. Yeah. And I'm not a college professor. Ricky actually chimed in right here. No college professor would ever. That's unacceptable. It is unacceptable. And I'm pretty sure you can be fired for that. And K through 12's education, it's even more serious an issue because the students are not only students, but they're minors as well. So that's another layer of issues there. Absolutely unacceptable. Stephen Turquoise, I wanted to let you know I enjoyed the parties, and did you see all my comments? I did. If I hearted your comment, then I've seen it already. What will be the plan for the finale episode? I intended to make it 4 parts. However, I accidentally did like 2 parts at once. So either I'll have to split it in half with kind of an abrupt ending to one of them, or I will do it in 3 parts instead of 4. So, not sure. I have not heard of Kirby Air Riders, Stephen Turquoise. Laylan Lopez, are you going to do a special thing for a video released or made on your birthday? Probably not, although I will recognize the birthday of the channel itself. Turner Winstead, my principal is older than you, I think. Yep, very possible. I've met principals in their 60s and 70s. I've met principals in their 30s. So it's all over the place. Let's see. Nintendrovert, I've been making YouTube content for over a year and just recorded my first movie reaction. I'm worried about navigating copyright issues. Any advice? Don't use as little of the original content as possible. Try and break it up as much as possible. And if you need to, make it into multiple videos instead of one long video. Jaden Sharp, would you rather attend John J. Curtis High School for Max Keeble's big move or James K. Polk? James K. Polk all the way. Do you go to Six Flags for grad night? No, but there are other things for seniors that we do. Brian Hicks, the writer Flannery O'Connor, is from Milledgeville, and I'm not from there, but I did complete a master's degree from an institution located there. Fatherhood, okay. John Smith, is mayonnaise an instrument? Yeah, classic. Nintendrovert, have you ever been to Dollywood? I've not been to Dollywood, but I've been to that area, like Gatlinburg kind of area, but it's been a very long time. Turner Winstead, were you ever known as Dr. Brandon or Mr.? Mr. I do not have a doctorate degree. Joe Mary Hobbs, react to Total Drama World Tour episode Aftermath. Okay. Are you going to take Thanksgiving week off? From working, yes. From YouTube, no. My videos, in fact, they're already scheduled, right? I don't even have to do anything. Even if I don't do a thing for YouTube over Thanksgiving break, it will be, I think this is Thanksgiving week. So actually, I already have it planned. November 25th, the Ned's Test episode. November 28th, SpongeBob Tea at the Tree Dome, which has been requested forever. And then November 29th, Gumball, the Coach. Okay, Tyler Caswell, I'm sorry that you have to keep going back up, but are you excited for Halloween, and do you have any bloopers? I don't have any bloopers. Not many, anyway. I have not seen Lean On Me or Boston Public or Community. The Proud Family, I could react to that, user 1414. Lathon, what are you saying in Spanish? What kind of scam is that? I don't know what you mean by scam. It wasn't a scam. I just spoke Spanish, and then I spoke a little bit of Mandarin, and that's it. No scams involved. DeLuna, have you ever had any strict teachers when you were in school? Yeah, I did. I had a couple of English teachers that were particularly strict. Yes. Lathon Lopez, Crubs actor, died in 2015. R.I.P. During my senior year, someone made 4 swatting calls, and nowadays I would not do that because I believe they can trace it. The technology has gotten good enough to where they can trace it way easier than they could before. So don't do it. Don't do it because it's wrong, but also don't do it because you're going to get caught. Random account. We had a senior prank at my school once where the hallway was rubbed down with lubricant. The principal got mad and slipped and fell. Yeah, I didn't have that, but there was one year where I wasn't principal of the school, but students put that stuff on all the doorknobs. And honestly, there's a certain point up to which the school will say, it's all good fun. Let's just have a good laugh and let them do their prank, and we won't try to punish anybody. We'll just let them do it. And then if you cross certain lines, that will stop, and all of a sudden people won't be able to graduate. I'm a goofy goober, yeah. JFL, do kids vape at your school? Unfortunately, Turner Winstead, kids vape at every school. Even the highest performing schools I've ever served in, they still vape. It's a big, big issue for students. It's awful. I hate vaping. Sorry if you vape, if you do vape, if you're watching this and you vape. I don't hate you, but I wish you'd stop because it's really, really bad for you, and you're getting addicted to nicotine for no reason. It's awful. And if you're one of these that say, well, I don't smoke and I vape because I don't smoke, then it's the lesser of two evils. You need to try to get off of it. Let's see. I mean, what you're saying in Spanish. Yeah, I can't go back and translate the whole thing. I'm sorry. If you understood it, then that's an extra bonus. Please do more Hey Arnold. Okay. Makarov, I got a question. Why do teachers normally say to your students, your professor isn't going to be nice or easy on you? Normally professors are more chill. I think what they mean is more like the grading policy. Like they're not going to remind you over and over again to do your work. Because, I don't think the accountability is quite the same for pass rates and stuff like that. But they say that not so much because of the professor's personality, but I would say more on grading policies. Because unlike high school, you might not get graded assignments every week. You might just have a few tests in the entire semester, and that's it. So those are critical. Turner Winstead, my school has had some threats recently, which is kind of scary. Yeah, true. Just make sure that you know what your school's policy is. You know what you're supposed to do when you have, if most schools nowadays have some sort of security system or threat response system, just know what the policy is and know what you're supposed to do in the event of an emergency, and you'll be fine. JFL, any anime shows? Yeah, I'm open to it. only one who wants SNL, SML, or Darman. You might be. User, thanks for the tips. Also, it's me, Key. I didn't know that. Somehow I knew that on some level, but I didn't connect it. Thank you for your support of the channel. Jaden Sharp, which of Ned's tips would you use in real life? Almost all of them. There was one where he said to just basically to give in to bullying with the 8th graders. That's the only one I kind of disagreed with. In the upperclassmen episode. Lathan Lopez, have you read yet about what the Martin actor from Ned's? I haven't. I'm assuming he's having some health issues. All right. Caddy Crashy, have you played any Sonic the Hedgehog games? I did play the original Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and Sonic the Hedgehog 3 on Sega Genesis. That's about it. That was a long time ago. Makarov, I'm Mexican and your Spanish is way better than mine. I'm trying to learn German and Japanese, though. Good luck. I do know basic German as well, because in 2018, I took this trip to Germany for a week, and I learned all this German. I checked out a course from the library, learned all this German, went over there, didn't use it because everyone spoke English. All right. FNAF on fire. I know a lot of people complain about school lunches. Has that been an issue for schools you've seen? The quality or health of the school lunches. So the health of the school lunches aren't a problem. Those are regulated by the federal government, by the way. If you didn't know that, they're healthy. Now you might not like it, or it might not be particularly appetizing, but they are required by law to meet certain dietary parameters. I have been at schools where the cafeteria was great. It was actually pretty good, and I've been at some where it wasn't so great. Lathan Lopez, and the chat just loaded a bunch of messages. Okay. Hold on. I'm gradually getting caught up. Got 48 people in here. All right, I'm going to try to hurry to get to your messages. So if you wrote a message, I will read it. Lathan Lopez, much better than mine. User says nice. John Smith says, since you did the first one, just FYI, there really isn't any Spider-Man movie that... Yeah, people have mentioned Spider-Man for a while. I do plan to get to that. Maybe in January would be a good time. Jack Moon, it's 1:53 p.m. here on Thursday. I see a donation. I'm going to skip straight down to it. Chilasprin, member for 2 months, an honor roll membership for 2 months. I really appreciate it. I don't think you'll regret that. You get a lot of perks. You get access to Discord. You get early access to all my videos and several members-only videos that only you can watch or only members can watch. And Chilasprin's comment was, I appreciate you for trying to be flexible as possible with the type of content people have been suggesting. Can't wait to see what else you have in store. I really appreciate that. YouTube has been very rewarding with all the feedback. So thank you for your 2-month membership on the honor roll level Chilasprin. So now that I've skipped down to that because of that donation, that support, I'm going to scroll back up to where I was. It'll take me just a second to find it. All right. Yeah, Jack Moon says it's 1:53 p.m. here on Thursday. You must be, I don't know where you are. You must be in Hawaii maybe, or Alaska. Not sure where he is. Mr. Marvel says, bravo. FNAF on fire. Did I hear Planet of the Jellyfish? Yeah. Nick Ronka, aside from Zoe 101, what other 3 shows are you planning on adding to your second? Oh, the poll? I'm not sure yet. I may end up comparing just certain shows head-to-head to see which one is most popular, so that way I know how to prioritize the other shows. Even if they don't go permanently on Tuesdays, I can prioritize some of my Saturday content based on those polls. I've got to take a drink for a minute. My voice is wearing out. Diet Coke. All right. Let's see. Mr. Marvel, Hey Arnold suspensions episode. Yep. Let's see. Oh, I was right. It was Hawaii. And I don't speak Hawaiian. If you speak Hawaiian, to me, that's impressive. Maybe not to you because it's all around you, but that's pretty impressive. Jack Moon from Hawaii. Thanks for tuning in. Ryan Skallman is here, channel member. How's it going, buddy? It's going real well. I hope it's going well for you. Samantha Robinson loves Planet of the Jellyfish. Salty, would you react to Bill Nye? I would react to him. I watched a lot of his stuff in middle school. Tyler Caswell, I'm kind of with you. I like Ned better because he cares for his friends. Yep. Cookie lies. He does. Makarov, I remember when my math teacher showed the class the movie October Sky. Okay. Gabby says, my third language is Spanglish. Yeah. I was chatting with a Spanish teacher the other day from Venezuela, and I caught her using some Spanglish, let's say, or a word in Spanglish. And that happens all the time, especially people who speak Spanish who live here in the U.S. You'll say different things like rentar is something I hear a lot. Now, the word to rent something, like to rent an apartment, is alquilar, is the real word, but I hear rentar. It's just the word rent with AR on the end. It's not the real thing, but that happens all the time. You have these mixings of the two languages. Okay. Let's see. JFL, should a school tell you can't take any more theater classes after graduation? Well, if you're an alumni, you can't take classes. If you're not a student at that school, you can't take classes at the high school, if that's what you mean. Nick Ronca, they may even make a point that Ross should be fired. Yeah, he should. Danny Garcia, nice to see you here, channel member. Hope you're doing well. Don't know if anybody asked you, do you have any top 3 teachers from shows or movies you've reacted to and that you'd love to work for you at the high school you work at if they were real? That's a good question. I always enjoy the interesting questions. I would say Mr. Hunter from, I think his name is Hunter, or is that one of the main characters? I forgot. The young teacher from Boy Meets World. I would get him. I would get, I'm thinking through all the different shows. I would get Miss Honey from Matilda, even though she does have some flaws. I don't think I would trust her past elementary school. For high school, I would have to help her a lot for classroom management. In fact, I wouldn't have her because you said high school. So I would not get Miss Honey. I would get, who did I say? Yeah, definitely the guy from Boy Meets World. I would get actually, Mr. Wright would be good, but I'd have to train him up a little bit. Some of his assignments were kind of not great, but other than that, he was good. Mr. Wright, and then lastly, I would get, so many of them are so bad. Maybe Mr. Feeney, also from Boy Meets World. They were pretty good. The rest of them were so bad. Lathon Lopez, my high school principal was around your age, middle school like 20 years younger, and elementary 25 years younger. Makarov, back in high school when we were reading To Kill a Mockingbird, a lot of girls, including me, had a crush on Atticus Finch. Okay. Turner Winstead, I've been to Dollywood a lot, but I'm from Tennessee. Okay. Yeah, Tennessee. I haven't been to Tennessee in a long time. I went to a conference in Nashville once at the Grand Ole Opry Center. Or no. It was some huge convention center they have there. That was really fun. And I've been to Gatlinburg a few times, but not in a very, very long time. The Smoky Mountains National Park. I love that place. To Kill a Mockingbird. I remember reading that in 9th grade. Alex Gillis, do you let your students call you by your first name? I do not. Makarov, The Outsiders is another good book. I read that in 7th grade. I've seen the movie as well. Midnight Kitten, who would be a more difficult boss, Mr. Krabs or Mr. Burns? Mr. Burns, I would say. Gabby says, if you don't mind me asking, how do you manage YouTube in school? Like, what's your time management method? I try my best not to take my work home with me, and I absolutely do not do YouTube activities at school. So I keep them very, very separate. And some days I don't have any time to do YouTube. And then when I do have time, I do a bunch of it at once. basically, is what my technique is. So if you ever notice, like if I'm wearing the same outfit in 2 different videos, I probably filmed those like back to back, honestly, and just scheduled them at different times. Alliance Warrior, I've never caught a stream from this channel before, so I thought I would say hi. And so we're saying hi to you. Thanks for joining us, Alliance Warrior. Nintendrovert, what are some video games you'd love to play if you had the time but never got around to? There are a ton of them actually right now on Steam that I would love to play that people recommend. I just never have time. I want to finish Stanley Parable too. That one was really fun. I'm not done with that. There will be more. And I want to get... Maestro from the VR headset, the MetaQuest. I have a MetaQuest 3 that I play. Jaden Sharp, who's worse, Jock Goldman or Mike? I would say Jock is worse because he was so deceptive and manipulative, what he did to Mose in Season 2. But he sort of redeemed himself. I think his last episode was on the second to last episode of Season 2. He sort of redeemed himself. He wasn't so bad in that episode. Lathon Lopez, do dog with a blog episode. Okay, I'd have to check that out. Random account. We had an incident at my school once where a student came to school high on narcotics, and when the principal tried to calm him down, the same principal I mentioned got punched in the face. Yeah, drugs are absolutely awful. I've seen some horrible things happen with people that are on drugs. It's awful. So he probably got charged with the punch and the other issue. Drugs are awful. I mean, that should be obvious, but I've seen some awful things with that. Roger Zachary, the kids at my school senior year laid in the main hallway blocking it. Yeah, that's sort of a gray area. I don't know that a lot of places, especially now, would put up with that. Turner, I do not smoke or vape. Good for you. Please never start. Midnight, I remember when I was at high school smoking, never started either. I don't understand. Student smoking at high school. Yeah, don't start. Don't ever start. John Smith, I think I wouldn't care about a prank if it was innocent fun. Yeah, it's kind of what schools do. In fact, I was at a couple of schools where the seniors, and I really respected this, they would actually come to the principal and say, look, this is what we want to do. Is this okay? We don't want to get in any trouble. We just want to have fun. Can we do this? And 9 times out of 10, he would actually allow it. Or if it were me, I would allow it. Sometimes when that happened, I was the assistant principal, so I didn't have the final say. So, but I really respected that, and we tended to give him some leeway. Ross Bristow, good to see you. We don't know the long-term effects of vaping. Yeah, it's bad. There's nothing good about it. There are people that say, well, I don't smoke, or I did smoke and I'm trying to vape to get off of it. That's not good, but it should be with the intention to eventually quit all of it. Ricky Rax, 3 parts would be easier. It can be our early Christmas gift. I'll see. The big question is, will it cause a copyright problem because it's a larger share of the total original content? So if Paramount fights me on that, then I may have to split it. But I'll see, Ricky Rax. Nick Ronca, did you ever have a teacher be one of those, your foot is on time, the rest of you? Nah. I've had some teachers be really strict, but not that strict. You get yourself into trouble when you do that. Tyler Thunder's here. Haven't seen you in a while. Do you have a big 2026 wish? I wish for the channel to have one video go viral and get 1 million views. That's my wish. I don't think it'll come true, but hey, you never know. Green Laser, if you never pursued a career in education, what field do you think you would have gotten into? I would say law. I think I would make a pretty good attorney. I do have a lot of experience questioning people about things and investigating. And I have done administrative hearings, which are kind of similar to court proceedings. So I would have liked to have studied the law. You do actually have to take school law courses, but it's like a law course that's just education law. Jaden Sharp, can you give me a shout out? Okay, I'm officially giving Jaden Sharp78, a shout out. Congrats. Random account. I can actually sing a little bit in Spanish, a few songs in Spanish. That's just about it. I can't actually speak it. So you can sing it, but you can't speak it. How does that work? Unless you're just imitating a song that is in Spanish. I can sing in Spanish, but I won't do it. I don't know any Spanish songs. I would just have to ad-lib stuff. You don't want to hear it. Let me scroll up. John Smith, the first episode of Danny Phantom is called Mystery Meat. Yeah, that's on my list to do. In fact, I have not done Halloween Town, Kendall Chapman, Jaden Sharp, bass or synth? Synth. Tyler Thunder, there is a good school game called Campus Life, okay? It has to be clean, though. Some of them are clean, some of them are not. Turner Winstead, do you think you'll do a live stream for Scary Teacher 3D? Don't know what that is. It might be too much for the channel. Just REI, just curious, sir, is there a traditional instrument that can imitate electric guitar? There probably is. There probably are some stringed instruments that can. I don't know what they would be, though. Dan Graff, what do you think Polk would be like if Krubbs ended up as principal? Pretty crazy. And if Mr. Wright didn't end up getting the principal job, what other teacher at Polk would you have chosen? There aren't many there aren't many good options. I think probably the best one you can expect other than Mr. Wright is maybe Mr. Sweeney. He would probably be the next best pick. Krubbs, he does well on some episodes. There are certain episodes where he's not that bad and actually does a good job. There are others where he's totally immoral and corrupt, like the newspaper episode. He's awful on that one. Put Darmon on the poll. Probably not, but I will get to that at some point. Ricky Rax, I don't get that strict in my class. JFL, we saw Alien in our film class a while back. Okay. Film class, that's pretty cool. I worked at a school that had a film program. Jack Moon, unfortunately, not a lot of people speak Hawaiian here. It's a dying language. Most people speak English since it's better for the tourists. Yeah. Because there's no telling how many millions, if not billions of dollars in tourism go through there. Ricky Rax, my grading policy is different than other professors. Dan Graff, do vice principals have more power than the actual? No. I feel like Krubbs plays more of a role than Mr. Wright. That's because Mr. Wright isn't even in any episodes anymore that I've seen for a while. But no, the assistant principal basically does what the principal asks them to do, which is typically classroom observation. The same thing that he does, but he's basically helping him get it all done, and he reports directly to the principal, he or she. Because I've known plenty of female assistant principals. A lot of places there's more of them than men, just depending on the district and on the school. So they observe classes, they do teacher evaluations, they supervision, they do investigations, they do student discipline, they do almost all of it. Green Laser, or JFL, Community College, okay. Green Laser, The Big Scoop, okay. Mr. Turner, yeah, I knew it wasn't whatever I said before. Thanks. Tyler Thunder, I graduated high school June 2020. One of the things I like about your channel is you bring back nostalgia of when I was at school, okay? I'm glad you enjoyed my content. Yeah, it was quite a while ago for me. Toontail Official Shorts, can you react to Smallville? If enough people keep saying it, I will have to do it. Ross Smith, Ross should be fired, but they were on a break. Yeah. Lathon Lopez, I've been to Georgia a few times, but really the only the Loves Travel Center in Brunswick. I've been there before, and a hotel in Rome and Ackworth, which are in northwest Georgia. Okay. Tyler, are you at home right now? No, I've been traveling quite a bit, so no, I am not. Lathon Lopez, do more Pokemon. Emery says hello. Random account. I graduated in May 2019, and by that point, I went through 5 principals. I was there for 10 years. 5 principals in 10 years still isn't great. Yeah, being a principal is tough. Sometimes they don't stick around. Jaden Sharp, what's your favorite color? I tend to gravitate toward orange myself. Nick Ronka, I ironically never watched a playthrough of the original Stanley Parable. Jaden Sharp, cats or dogs? Cats, I guess. User 1414, can you react to school memes? I certainly can if they're clean. Samantha Robinson, don't smoke, vape, or drink. 100% agree. Gabby says, I agree. You need to keep work and home lives separate, but if you don't mind me asking, what are some of your biggest lessons you have learned in your life so far? What would you tell your younger self? Wow. I would probably tell my younger self to try and enjoy the smaller things in life, because it's really easy for time to just go by, and it's good to concentrate on things like your schoolwork and things like getting ahead in your career, which I was definitely into. But you want to enjoy the small things along the way is probably what I would tell myself. Deep question. And it loaded a bunch of chat messages, and I have to scroll back up. I'm getting caught up slowly but surely. All right, where was that question? Hold on a minute. Where was that question from Gabby? That's where I left off. There it is. Okay, next was Tyler Caswell. The best prank I ever played was I put a place of paper. That's like a tongue twister. I put a piece of paper in my envelope, and my mom and dad opened it, and I laughed. You do you. Sounds like, never mind. The random account. Brandon, did you ever eat lunch in the cafeteria while principal? Sure did. Did students ever sit with you if you're still principal? Me and my friends sometimes did with ours. I did, but I was careful kind of not to make it weird. I would typically eat in there, but I wouldn't sit at like the regular tables. I would either stand up and eat or eat at, like, they had another table that a lot of the teachers sat at. So I would sit at one of those. Or if I did go talk to the students, I would like do it while I wasn't eating. I would just sort of walk around and talk to them as they ate. Which is best practice. Let's see. Ross Bristow, Feynman on Ned's dating Mose is creepy. Yeah, agreed. But it's only a TV show. Nick Ronka, there was an episode of Full House where, as a prank, they parked the principal's car on the school roof. Yeah, that sounds like the Drake and Josh. I thought just before I read the next sentence, that's what I thought of. John Smith, in the words of a school counselor from a show that will never clear YouTube, drugs are bad. Yeah, they are very bad. Lathon Lopez, as told by Ginger. Nintendrovert, I know you said you grew up on NES and Nintendo 64. Are there any Nintendo games you felt you missed out on, like Zelda? I never really played too much of the Zelda games. I watched other people play them a lot. Super Mario Galaxy was way after I kind of stopped playing console games. I had the original 8-bit Nintendo growing up, and then the Sega Genesis and SNES came out, and I had the Sega Genesis, and a friend of mine had the Super Nintendo, and I would go to his house. And then I never had a Nintendo 64, but I loved it. A couple of friends of mine had it. My favorites were Mario 64 and the old GoldenEye game. And then I got the PlayStation 2 after that, and then the PlayStation 3 after that, and then the PlayStation 4 after that. I don't really play a lot nowadays. I don't have a PS5 or anything like that. If I'm going to play a game, it's going to be on PC. All right. Let's see. There's a website, Perfect Angel. There's a website called Educa Play, which lets people make free educational games. Have you ever heard of this? I have not. Nintendrovert. I've seen channels where composers react to video game soundtracks. Yes, I can do that. I don't know how you would pull that off, though, because music almost always triggers a copyright ID claim. Jaden Sharp. Homer or Hank? Hank. Laylon Lathon Lopez, I saw Goodfellas in film class. Perfect Angel, what's your favorite fun or creative way to teach a review with a class? Well, I like Kahoot and all those things. Now, when I was a teacher, I would do that, but it was way before those items. They didn't exist at that time, so I would do the very, very old school reviews on the board. I would make up little games like Jeopardy-style games. I would do little hangman games, too, if there were like key vocabulary. We would do it like that. I would just make up my own games sometimes. I can't remember exactly what they were. Let's see. Community college, not a high school. John Smith, if you were given the opportunity to collaborate with another YouTuber, would you, for example, Kitty Monk and Phantom Strider? I don't know them, so I would have to know who we're talking about here. But yeah, I'm open to that. If you, by another YouTuber, you mean Julia Botang, I did contribute to one of her videos, which I really enjoyed that. She had sent me, I knew what she was going to do, and I just said, hey, if you need help, let me know. And she sent me some questions to give my perspective on, and so I sent her a short video reply, which she used for content in her video. Okay, FNAF on fire. Have phone policies gotten stricter every year? Yes, they have. A lot of states have recently passed laws, including my own state of Georgia, that ban them for kindergarten through 8th grade. Lathon Lopez, we were on a break. Roger Zachary, Jeopardy would be good. World fun and amazing. Can you please Odd Parents episode in schools? Yeah, I've done a few and I plan to do more. FNAF on fire. It was about the teachers not disciplining the students. JFL, you should do Unfriended. Okay. Robert McDermott, off topic, but from the videos you make, what is your thought on province-wide teacher strike in Canada, Alberta? They're striking because class sizes are too big at 32 per class and underpaid. I don't know about that strike. I have followed teacher strikes before. I may have mentioned before that Georgia is what's known as a right-to-work state, which means that teachers' unions are illegal. Now, you can say that's good because teachers' unions in other states, like Florida, for instance, wield a lot of power and sometimes too much. Or you can say, well, that's bad because that, puts a lot more power in the hands of the school district and it's not fair for teachers. There's pros and cons to each. So I don't really have an opinion on it because I don't know about it. Average salaries ranging from approximately $60,000 to over $100,000. And I don't know how that compares to US dollars, so it's tough for me to even comment on that. Teachers in the US typically make, in my state, and this is public information, anywhere from $35,000, $40,000 at the absolute minimum, all the way up to maybe $90,000, depending on what you teach and what kind of education you have. Now, it varies a lot in other states. Like if you live in California, you might make a lot more, but you're going to pay a lot more because of the cost of living. Okay, continuing on. A bunch more chat messages just loaded. Tyler Thunder, have you played No Man's Sky? I have not. Ricky Rax, my girlfriend said she would be happy if you reacted to Twilight. I may do that if enough people recommend it. I always appreciate her feedback on anything having to do with school counselors. Leylon Lopez likes black. Perfect Angel says orange is my favorite color too. I've always liked orange. I don't even know why. I just do. Toontail Official Shorts. Who chooses to hire a new principal? Typically, the superintendent decides that, or they at least have the final say, though a lot of times... It's funny. I've interviewed for principal positions many times, particularly right before I became a principal. Obviously, I was going to interviews. Sometimes it would be like a room full of 10, 12, 15 people all interviewing you. I've also had times where one time it was just the superintendent, just him, and he said, hey, let's go out to my truck and I'll show you around the high school. It was kind of a rural place. It was just me and him the whole time. and then everywhere in between. Sometimes it's one interview, sometimes it's 2, 3 interviews before they decide on somebody. So it really varies. Let's see. Samantha Robinson, unfriended, might not be appropriate for this channel. Thanks for the heads up. Ricky Rax, we have puppies at our house. One of them is named Big B. That's pretty cool. World fun and amazing. What is the crazy story as principal jobs? You're going to have to probably try that question again. Alliance Warrior, I respect that you avoid profanity in your videos. I always feel that good content knows how to avoid profanity. Yeah, what I hate about YouTube, and it's not YouTube, it's just content on YouTube. I'll see a video that I really think is interesting. I'm like, oh yeah, that's going to be a really cool topic. And I click on it, and it's profanity all through it, and I just, I can't, it's tough to deal with that. Gabby says, I'm trying to find my spot. Gabby says, agreed, and you seem like a go-getter, Very. You call me, I'll be there. I forgot what we were talking about with that, or what I said before when you typed that, but generally, yes. Lathon Lopez, do Mr. Young or what's up, warthogs? Okay. How do you handle copyright? I learn about the copyright process in YouTube. There's a very clear copyright dispute process, and I try to abide by it as much as possible. JFL, Full House did something like that in the 8th season. Random account, me and my friends almost did a senior prank where we wanted to sell our principal's house on an auction, and you're not going to be able to do that. That prank would not get very far. Let's see. I'm going to have to skip a few probably. Green Laser, as told by Ginger. Tyler Caswell, are you going to miss Ned's? Yes, definitely. What was your favorite part in Josh is Done? You're referring to the Drake and Josh episode. I honestly don't remember. That was a long time ago that I recorded that. Sorry. I've been talking nonstop for a while. Okay. Let's see. Namagwe. I wish I could transfer to your school and show off to people that my principal also watches SpongeBob. Tyler Thunder, what do you like more, 1971, 2005, or 2023? I've not seen 2023. I did see the other two. I would definitely say 1971, which I've reviewed on this channel, I believe. Perfect Angel, haha, Jeopardy and Hangman for study review games reminds me of what I was in growing up in the 90s. Yeah, because this was like the mid-2000s that I'm referring to, so not far off. Jade and Sharp, Miss Honey or Principal Duval? I would say Principal Duval. Lathon Lopez, you should do... Yeah, I heard you say that. Random account. Have you ever dressed up for Halloween at your high school while Principal Brandon? I have, although technically it was not for Halloween. It was for homecoming week, if you're familiar with that concept, homecoming, where you have different dress-up days. I have dressed up before. I think it was the Jedi Knight that I dressed up as. Let's see. Leylon Lopez from Florida, 8 years in Chicago. Nintendrovert, what are schools doing nowadays to make sure kids aren't using AI to cheat? Well, some part of it is assigning assignments where you really can't rely on that and forcing students to be more creative and authentic with what they provide for the assignment. Jaden Sharp, Principal Moss or Principal Skinner? That's a tough one. I would probably say Principal Moss or Skinner. That's a tough one. I would probably go Skinner, but that's a toss-up. That's 50-50. Let's see. Have you ever done... I've never done a senior prank, like as a student. I've never done a senior prank. T-Bone, happy Throwback Thursday. ANX2, I'm not sure how you have the energy to do 2-hour-long live streams. My energy's starting to run out, but I think I've got a little bit longer. How long have we been going? 1 hour and 37 minutes. And I laugh because it's always right at 2 hours. It just always, I do not plan that. I promise I don't. I have a feeling it's going to be 2 hours again. I'm starting to get hot, honestly. I've had this tie on for a long time. Let's see. World Fun and Amazing. I have a question about phone banned. About it. Why did they ban phone? Oh, I see what you're saying. It's just easier for them to say K through 8. Not that they believe that a whole lot of kindergartners are out there doing phones or using phones. Lathon, Moses better than Skinner. Lathon Lopez says Susie was in Twilight. User says, what's your favorite season of SpongeBob? And I'm sorry, I just saw something funny. Let's keep going. Also, can you do the hall monitor voice? Hall monitor. That's not great. I do it better in the hall monitor episode. FNAF on fire. Lathon Lopez is cool as it would be because SML. Okay, I'm not quite sure I understand that. FNAF, I'm sorry. Toontail official shorts. Do you think the United States education system is completely corrupted? Do you think college is a waste of time? No and no. So it really ticks me off when people talk about the school system because there is no school system. There's like 1,000 different school systems in the U.S., and yes, some of them are horrible, but you can't look at one thing that one school board does and then say, well, the entire U.S. school system is bad. That's not how it works. In other countries, in some other countries, the federal government really controls the entire education system, but it's not that way in the U.S. That's why you can talk about, like with Trump, and I'm not going to get into this, but doing away with the U.S. Department of Education. That's actually possible. Why? Why is it possible? Because the Department of Education doesn't have direct control like they do in other countries. It's all the local school boards that do that have all the decision-making power. So, no, the U.S. education system isn't completely corrupted because it's really more like 1,000 different education systems, if you want to know the truth. Some are good, some are bad, some are in between. All right, I'll get off that soapbox there. Who are your favorite YouTubers to watch? Dr. Mike's pretty good. Legal Eagle used to be good. Now I don't watch him anymore because he's just political 100% of the time. What else? 7-4 Gear is good. There's others that I just can't think of at the moment that are good. I can't pull them out of my brain. Kendall Chapman, who would be a better teacher, Mr. Simmons from Hey Arnold or Mr. Sweeney? Probably Mr. Sweeney. Mr. Simmons is good in some ways, but he cannot control his class. Jaden Sharp, Wii U or Wii? I never played the Wii U. I really, really miss the Wii Fit board. If you've ever played that, the original one, I used to play that thing all the time. I loved Wii Fit. I wish I could get one now. Simmons by a lot. I disagree, Lathon Lopez. Nintendrovert, Principal Brandon seems like one of those rare people in life who's trustworthy enough to babysit your kids. Well, I would hope so, because I literally do supervise, not babysit, but supervise students. And I've been in a lot of difficult situations too, and I had to feel like my school district trusted me to do what was needed to help those students. John Smith, I just remembered the father of the student Ross dates is played by Bruce Willis. Okay, yeah, that's true. I do somehow remember that. Let's see. I'm going to skip a few here. Sad Doggo, I have a burning question about a book I read. A student in it goes to school for years in smelly clothes full of holes. I'm thinking, how can the school allow this? The book is set in the 70s. Well, the 1970s, I was not around for that, but it was a very different time. Nowadays, a social worker is going to get wind of that, or a counselor, and that student is going to get a brand new set of clothes. Excuse me. Okay. Gabby says, what did you have for dinner? There is a great Mexican restaurant just down from where I am at. This cup came from there. What did I have? I think I had this special enchiladas meal with good mole. I like when it has really good, authentic mole. It was pretty good. Did you get to know President Jimmy Carter? He is from Georgia. He's from Plains, Georgia, which is in like the southwestern part of the state. No, never had any dealings with him at all. Kaimani's here, legend, channel legend. Hi, Mr. Brandon, I'm finally here. Had trouble with Wi-Fi for a bit. Better late than never. Kaimani, channel legend, and principal's office level channel member. Random account. We plan to do a senior prank where the high school I went to and the other closest high school in the county switched high schools for a day. That's not going to work. I mean, that would never work. They would discover that in 2 seconds and put a stop to that really quickly. Let's see. World fun and amazing. What was the craziest story? Yeah, the craziest stories that I've had, I cannot repeat because they're very sensitive. So I do have some crazy stories, but I cannot share them. Alex Wilson, you should react to Wonder, okay? Lathon Lopez, true, Moss and Skinner are horrible. They are horrible. Kaimani, who would you rather have under your school? Dean Hardscrabble, I'm not sure who that is. Principal Trunchbull or Fire Headmaster? Oh, the Fire Nation Headmaster. So between Trunchbull and the Fire Headmaster, definitely the latter. He wasn't all that bad. He wasn't great, but he wasn't all that bad. Perfect Angel, have you ever used ChatGPT to help you teach a lesson? Well, ChatGPT was not a thing when I was a teacher. So I have used it in my professional life, not to just to do things for me, but it's really good at analyzing information quickly and doing those sorts of data analysis that would take me a lot longer. I don't use it to make decisions, but I do use it to go through data much more quickly than I could. I do double check it though, because it's not always 100% correct. Let's see. Lathon Lopez. Angry running out of my, I don't understand. Nintendrovert, if I sent you a piece of music from a game, would you react to it on stream, or will YouTube's copyright? They'll still flag me, because if you were on the stream a few streams ago where I played the Inspector Gadget theme and I played DuckTales or something, it flagged it. So yes, it will still do it, because what YouTube does is when we're done with the stream, it will convert that stream into like a regular video and upload it kind of sort of like a regular video, and it will still go through its copyright process. So you can't use the stream as a workaround. Okay, more chat messages. Oh, yep, I can tell. I'm going to run out of steam right about 2 hours in. There's 39 of us here. Okay, Jack Moon says he's seen kindergartners with phones. Flash 2013, no. Big Bang Theory, I don't know if it's clean enough for the channel. I'm going to have to skip some. Yeah, Hall Monitor, you mean it was all right. Gabby, it wasn't great. It was okay. Let's see. Hall Monitor, that was a little better. JFL, what should schools do to be better? Very generally, make sure you respond to all student complaints and bullying, because schools have a bad reputation out there just very generally about not stopping bullying. But I have seen with my own eyes bullying being stopped. But I'm sure that's not the case everywhere, and you really have to take every complaint seriously. Let's see. I've lost my place in the chat. You really need a hall monitor subscription tier. Yeah, the unfortunate thing about my subscription tiers is that if I change anything about it, what it does is it cuts everybody, like all the channel members will lose their memberships and have to re-sign up. So I don't dare change anything about it. But I'm happy with it, but that would be cool, hall monitor. Martha speaks, okay. Jack Moon says, Brandon always gets fiery when he talks about the school system, and I love it. Yeah, I was watching this, I think it was a journalist, Shapiro, I forgot his first name, really famous journalist that did kind of an expose on this one particular school district, and I made a comment on it, and a whole bunch of people got upset with me in the comments of this video saying how, oh yeah, of course, a principal's defending the school system. And I'm like, I'm not defending what they did in that video. I'm just saying, I tried to explain, but they were not capable of listening to me. So yeah, that does sort of get to me. Because there are plenty of school systems that are great, and there are some that are horrible. I am not saying that it's perfect. It's not. Okay, anyway, random account. Have you ever had any presidents write to your school? No. Lathan Lopez. There was Zach Cody episode where Zach fakes dyslexia. Ooh. Emma K. Do you have any pets? I do have a bearded dragon in a little cage. He's hibernating right now. He went under his little rock, and he's been there for a month. And he's done this once before, and he just stayed under there for 4 months. I don't know how he survived, but then one day he just came out. I think he's gone into some sort of hibernation. Jack Moon, Legal Eagle, used to have some great reaction videos, and now it's just illegal current events. Yeah, I'm not enjoying it. Sad Doggo, true, they don't really enjoy it. Yeah. And the thing is, a lot of people watched his channel back in the day because it was entertaining. Like in my channel, for instance, I know that people don't want an hour-long analysis of some sort of a commentary on IDEA or which is a law for special education, or to analyze, it just wouldn't be entertaining, right? People don't watch my channel for that stuff. They enjoy the information that I pepper in there, but they don't want an hour-long analytical type of video. That's not why people watch me, so I don't do that. I'm not sure I would enjoy that either. All right. Favorite class field trip that you've gone on with a class? What immediately comes to mind is I took a class to see some professional orchestras play that do concerts for kids. That was pretty fun. I've also been to Six Flags before. That was pretty fun. There's a bunch of other things too. I just can't remember them. Marching band competitions. Those are always fun. A new lawyer reacts called Michaela. Yes, I did. I do know of her. I would love to collab with her. In fact, if there's a something that involves school and the law, because she's not quite that big of a YouTuber yet. That would be a cool collaboration. I do know of her channel. Would you rather travel to Hawaii or the Bahamas? I don't know. Both seem really amazing. Jaden Sharp, would you rather time travel to the 80s or 90s? Probably the 90s. Toontail official shorts. How long does a principal contract last? Principal contracts are typically 1 year, just like the teachers are. If you're a superintendent, those contracts are typically 3 years long. Samantha Robinson, unfriended, has one school scene. Okay, and it involves a student bringing a weapon to school. That sounds serious. Green Laser, why were students doing multiplication on the floor? The teacher asked him. Wah, 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 wah. Nice joke. The teacher asked them not to use tables. Thalon Lopez, I love Mexican food, like Taco Bell. Yeah, you just probably insulted a whole bunch of people. I probably would not go around saying Mexican food like Taco Bell, as if Taco Bell is like a great example. Nothing against Taco Bell. I like Taco Bell. I'm just not going to go around saying that it's Mexican food. But yeah, I know what you meant. No worries. And I've lost my place in the chat. Let me find it again. There it is. Miranda McCall, me and my brother went to a Mexican restaurant earlier today, had something called the Special Texas. I had the Quesadilla Grande. Sounds good. Tyler Caswell, who do you like more, Drake or Josh? Or Drake or Josh? That's a really easy question, Josh. Drake is very selfish. Perfect Angel, have you ever had anyone famous visit your school while you were working there? Yes. I did work at a school. Actually, it was the art school. I mentioned, okay, let me back up. So I did a reaction video to the first episode of Victorious that's currently in copyright dispute. And I mentioned on that episode several times that I used to work at a school a lot like the school in Victorious. And they would film movies there sometimes in the school building. And so we did have some people come to the school for filming, but they would do it all like on weekends and after school. They would not do it during school for obvious reasons. Sad Doggo. Okay. All right, let me skip down. The Rec Fan, channel member. Good evening. I just finished working, so I arrived late. Better late than never. He says, how's it going? It's going well, and I hope you're doing well. JFL, you should react to The Flash. Sketchbook, will you do Avatar in episode order? That's probably not going to be possible, but I will do select episodes. Lathon Lopez, have you ever seen Simpsons episode The President Who Wore Pearls? I have not. Alliance Warrior, it would be interesting to see you play Undertale and later Deltarune. I would probably not be very good at it. I've seen it played and I know a lot of the music to it. I used to, when it was still popular, I would play the music to Undertale on various instruments. Students always really liked that. Ross Bristow, if you ever come to San Diego, go to a Mexican restaurant and order a Cali burrito. It's basically a carne asada burrito with fries. Sounds good. Ricky Rax can probably vouch for you on that. Kaimani Birel, Dean Hardscrabble is the Dean of Scary. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I would keep the same answer as before. I didn't like that character. Jaden Sharp. Okay, and I just lost my chat. Okay. Jaden Sharp. You should play some Jeopardy live. Okay. Alliance Warriors. Of course, both those games require some time commitment. Perfect Angel. Dean. Okay. Explaining who Dean Hardscrabble is. Lathon Lopez. Here in North Carolina, the great Mexican place called Casa Grande. Alex Wilson. Do you think suspensions work to solve problems? It's not great. Okay. However, a lot of times it's the only option, particularly if it's a safety issue and you may not be able to allow that student back on campus. It's not always just about that student. It's also about protecting the other student's safety. But I get it. You know, I would try not to suspend students for skipping class because you want them in the class. So it's not great, but sometimes it's the only option. Let me find my place. If you could choose a cartoon principal to be your assistant principal, a cartoon principal, I might pick Waxel Plax from Fairly Odd Parents. She wasn't too bad. Gabby says, I hate asking this again, but are you planning to react to the big birthday blowout and Plankton versus Krabs? Definitely. The issue with the birthday blowout is if I do it, I might have to cut it in half and do it as 2 videos because it is an entire episode instead of having sister episodes. It may cause a copyright issue if I do it in one video. So I've sort of been avoiding it a little bit, but it's still on my list. Plankton versus Krabs, I will definitely do. Kaimani says, have you ever thought about a plan to do a reaction on a live stream? Yeah, I could, but then I run the risk of something bad being in there that I didn't think was there, but it was, and then it's a whole thing. So I'd prefer not to. Kaimani, whether it's a stream for the whole channel or members. Yeah, that's possible. Jaden Sharp, Bach or Mozart? I'd go Bach. I like Bach. Both are very good. Mama Becca, I have an orange soda. I like me some orange soda. I know someone who craves Fanta Zero. It's like their favorite thing in the whole world. Nintendrovert, they're probably drinking one right now, I bet. Maybe not. Probably like just a regular tonic water, more than likely. Nintendrovert, how likely are rights holders to withdraw a copyright claim if you fill out the form to dispute it? It depends on how long your video is, how much of the original content you used, what you added to the video, right? It depends on a lot of things, not just how likely is it. It's tough to say without knowing those things. Lathon Lopez, have you seen the Great North one? I have not seen that, sorry. I used to love Legal Eagle too. I still love the old videos. I'll go back and watch one every once in a while. Jaden Sharp, SeaWorld or Universal? I haven't been to either one of those in a very long time. So I'll have to say a tie because I need to go visit them again. Jolt Jackalope, is it true that schools will sometimes show movies to students to educate them on history? Yeah, they typically have to get permission. But yes, they do. Rocky Rocks, do you have a favorite senior prank that a student played on you? I don't know if a senior played a prank on me personally. I want to say they did, but I don't remember it. It's more like a school-wide senior prank that was played on me. Lathon Lopez, Ladybug and Cat Noir. I do plan on doing that show. Early on in my channel's history, I did react to that, an episode called Derision, but it had some copyright issues, and I ended up not being able to publish it. And I ended up, when I changed computers, I lost that footage, so I'll have to go back and do it again. But it was pretty good. There were some pretty heavy-duty bullying. That character, that blonde girl, was it Chloe? She is horrible. She is the worst bully that I've seen in a while. Random account. We had a field trip in 6th grade where we went to the Kentucky State Fair in Louisville, and our principal went with us. Cool. Who are some gaming YouTubers you watch? About the only one is Queso, if you're familiar with him. Perfect Angel. What are some of the funniest or most fun things you've done and or seen the last day of a school year? Nothing really comes to mind other than just general kind of fun vibes, right? So everybody that is there, a lot of people don't typically come on the last day of school. I'm not condoning their absence, but it's just the way it happens. It's just everybody's in a really good mood, and they're just sort of enjoying each other, enjoying the last day of school, enjoying each other's company, that is. Spirit Week, definitely, every year. Taco Bell is to Mexican food as Olive Garden is to Italian. Yeah, I mean, it's a cheap imitation. I mean, do they have burritos at Taco Bell? Yes. Do they have burritos in the genre of Mexican food? Yes. Are they the same? No. They just aren't. It's a cheap imitation, but hey, I'm not knocking it. If you like Taco Bell, go there. I like Taco Bell. I like Olive Garden, but I'm not going to say it's the authentic version of what it's trying to imitate. Even though every school does things differently across all schools you've been to, has there been a consistent problem? Yes. Absenteeism, in other words, people trying to skip class. Probably since the beginning of school itself, people were trying to do that. Vaping has been an issue since, I would say, 2017 is when I saw the first Juul, if you remember those. They're the first little small cartridge that I remember seeing. They're all horrible. Do not do it. They're awful. So, yes, those two. And cheating, academic honesty. Okay, a bunch of new chat messages. Man, that person told me they were drinking a Fanta. I was right. Okay, let's see. I lost my place. Hold on. Toontail Official Shorts. How do you feel about jobs being replaced by AI? I have mixed feelings. So I don't think it's healthy for us as a society to just cling on to jobs just because they're being replaced. However, I am also concerned about how AI is changing certain fields, both for the better and for the worst. It's impossible for us to know the outcome right now. We're just going to have to wait and see. Let's see. Scrolling down. Sorry if I skip your message. The name of that lawyer reaction channel. Do you mean Legal Eagle? Not sure what you mean. Or Michaela, I think is what the other person said. The Rec Fan. Are the Halloween decorations everywhere where you live? I haven't seen a whole lot of them. I've seen some, but not a ton. Michaela or Michaela, something like that. Yeah, that's what it was. All right. Nintendrovert. Imagine your school principal rolling up with a keyboard and playing Megalovania. Yeah, I think I was playing saxophone or something, maybe. I think I was playing alto saxophone at the time. Or maybe it was piano, or maybe both. I'm starting to get tired. Kaimani, more Avatar in the future, winter solstice. Yeah, I remember your suggestions there. Favorite terrible teacher is Baldy. Yeah, from Baldy's Basics. Legally Blonde 3. Okay. Haven't seen that one. I've seen, I think, the first two of them. Kaimani, do you know... So if you know it's 1,000% clean, it could be reacted to. Yeah, in fact, if you remember, I did that with that teacher from the Wired magazine, or she answers questions from the internet. The one that said all the money is going to the administrators, and that's where all the money's going. Not true, by the way. Because I think if you didn't pay the administrators at least somewhat more, that you just wouldn't have administrators, because you do have a lot of responsibility. Being a teacher is a tough job. It really is, but you don't have as much responsibility. John Smith, The Ultimate Enemy is another Danny Phantom episode. I thought I did that. Did I do that one? Maybe I didn't. Gabby says, Plankton versus Crabs has a completely different meaning to me since I'm into the legal field. Yeah. Yeah, like a lawsuit. Exactly. Okay. Yeah, bad bully if you mean the girl from Miraculous. Scrolling down. Gabby says you should react to Rocco's Modern Life. Yeah, that was a great show. I watched it much earlier in my life, and then as an adult, I think before the age of widespread series on DVD, I got some sort of bootleg copy of it off of eBay or something, because you couldn't go to the store and buy it. It's not that I was avoiding trying to buy it. It didn't exist. I should not have done that. But that was much earlier in my life. But I did watch that show all the time. I don't remember everything about it, but a lot of it I do. Kaimani says, Chloe, all because her father is the mayor and mother who neglects her as a fashion designer. Jaden Sharp, who is worse, Evelyn or Lance Widget? Who was that again? I forgot who Lance Widget was. So I can't answer the question. Jaden says, Curly from Hey Arnold or Loomer? Curly is way worse, so I would go Loomer. All right. Random account. What's the wildest thing you've tried on the menu at a Mexican restaurant? Nothing too wild. I mean, nothing, really. Maybe some special fajitas or something. I mean, nothing, really. Nintendrovert. I'd like to see Brandon's reaction to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, where you can beat up Sans from Undertale as the Wii Fit trainer. That is pretty funny. I have not seen Sands on there, but I've seen the Wii Fit trainer, and it's hilarious because I remember I've talked about how much I like the Wii Fit, and if you've ever played it, the Wii Fit, particularly the female, there's a male version and a female version, and they're so calming, right? They're so calming. Like, please just put your body in this position and make sure to breathe, make sure to breathe. And then they're on the screen, like, beating people up. So it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny to watch. Lathon, when I was little, I had a Fanta addiction. I don't know what happened. Sad doggo, but Taco Bell blessed us with the Baja Blast. It sure did. Samantha Robinson, would you react to Danny Phantom, The Fright Before Christmas? I will if other people ask for it. Hungry for lunch. Appreciate you dedicating a whole 3 or 4 hours just to talk to us, Mr. Principal. 3 or 4 hours? Well, it's been 2 hours and 8 minutes. I don't know about 3 or 4 hours. In fact, I'm starting to get tired. But I've still got a little bit in me yet. Scrolling down. What kind of candy are you going to give out for trick-or-treating this year? I don't know. A lot of times I just don't do so much of that. So I don't know. What I used to do as a teacher, I would go out November 1st when all the candy was clearanced and buy a whole bunch of it and give it out as little incentives for, like, playing something correctly on their instrument, that kind of thing. Have any of your classes ever had a class pet? No. What do you think of Ned's chain of relationships? Very unhealthy. Toontail official shorts. Do you allow anybody to go in the student's bathroom? I'm not going to get deeply into that, only to say that it's different depending on where you are and depending on your local school district and state law in some places. I will say we make accommodations for everyone. Most places, even if they don't allow that, they'll make some sort of accommodation for those people. Lathon Lopez, what's your favorite candy? Favorite candy? Peanut butter M&Ms are pretty good. I used to love Smarties too. Both of them are horrible for you, so it's very rare that I eat that. Nowadays, I try to get, one of my favorite things actually is like bitter chocolate or kind of semi-sweet chocolate with black coffee. And you eat it, you bite a piece off, and you drink the coffee, and you kind of let it swish around a little bit, and that combination is just perfect. It's a little better for me than what I mentioned before. Soundmaster, in your reaction to Big Pink Loser, you made a really good point about how Patrick is like AI. I'll tell you how that came about. So I was reading the comments for that video, and people kept commenting saying that they laughed and they liked that part of the video. So I ended up breaking that part of the video up and making another video. Did it go viral? No, it did not. But a lot of people watched it and enjoyed it all the same. Nintendrovert. Can't remember if I said this in a previous stream, but I know the guy who made Baldi and had a chance to interview him. Pretty cool. Kaimani says, and I lost my chat. Found it. Kaimani, so would it be possible for an avatar reaction? I just don't know if I feel comfortable with that, Kaimani. However, I will review pretty much any episode you would like, but I would prefer to pre-record it. Sir Cashapan, a school principal react stream that's over 2 hours. Yeah, but it ain't going to be 3, probably. I doubt it. To Love a Patty or Legend of Bikini Bottom, I'd be happy to look at those. Laundry Day is a very dangerous day. What was that from? I forgot what that's from, but I know that's a line from something. Is that Rocco? Is that Rocco's Modern Life? I think maybe it is. Lathon Lopez, there were 2.5 Men. Okay. Gabby says, Rocco's Modern Life is a great show. I call it the gumball of the 90s. Pretty much was. I did like that show a lot. Camp Laszlo, not familiar with that one. Just Rocco. Gumball. I like Gumball too. Wii Party. Okay. All right. Do they still make the Wii? I really wish I could get my hands on one. Ikari Metal Slugger. Rocco's Modern Life had a lot of the SpongeBob folks work on it. I could see that. Miss T, ASMR. Gabby says, oof, yeah, referring to what Akari said. User, Principal Reacts, ASMR. Oh, you mean with when I was, what was I doing? I was talking about the We Fit yoga person, how she says, and now you put your arms up like this and you hold it for 10 seconds. She's so quiet, and then she's on Super Smash Brothers, like kicking people with the yoga moves. Yeah, I didn't mean to do the whole ASMR thing. All right. Let's see. I'm skipping. I'm going to have to skip some messages. Lance Widget is the Ned's character with the anger issues. Yeah, Jack Moon, thanks for that. I thought that was correct, but he's only in like an episode or two, so I wasn't real clear on that. The Rec Fan, channel member, I wanted to ask if I can leave a comment in this live stream after it ends. You can, because what will happen is this live stream will upload as a regular video. YouTube does that automatically, and sometimes if it's like a really long stream, it will take hours before it appears. Sometimes if I do an evening live stream, it won't show up until the next day. So just watch for that, and you can comment on it like as a regular comment for sure, and I will 100% see it. Yep, we've been live for a while. So Rocky Rock says we've been live for 2 hours and 5 minutes, and as I look in real time, it's 2 hours and 14 minutes. So I'm that far behind. I've got to catch up. Have a good evening, Alliance Warrior. Nintendrovert, did you react to the animated movie Leo starring? I did not. Scrolling down. I'm gonna have to quit in a minute, you guys. Scrolling down. User 1414. Chocolate. That's pretty good. Chocolate. Yes, indeed. Hungry for lunch. What was your least favorite subject that you excelled at? My least favorite subject, but I excelled in it. I don't know if there is such a thing for me. Miss T, coffee and bitter chocolate, old man energy. Yeah, indeed. FNAF on fire. The CDI is considered to be bad. I don't know what that is. JFL, a reaction to Big Fat Liar. What's your school's mascot? Can't go there. Gabby says, funny you said that because I see Brandon as a chocolate kind of guy. I don't like super sweet chocolate. I'll only eat that if I have like black. One of my favorite things in the chocolate world is some sort of chocolate, and then it has to be like black iced coffee, and I'll drink that with the sweet chocolate, and it somehow the way that goes together, it's just perfect. I'm not a huge chocolate fan, but if there's coffee involved, I will definitely eat it. But I won't just eat it like by itself or with milk. It has to be coffee. John Smith, react to Adam Sandler's 8 Crazy Nights. Very inappropriate. It just won't work. Kaimani, have you ever heard of Winx Club? I have not. Lathan Lopez, Oh Captain. Okay. Like Oh Captain, My Captain, the famous poem. Okay. Getting toward the end. 42 of us here. I've still got a few more minutes left in me, but probably no more than 10 to 15. Nintendrovert, why don't you feel comfortable with a full avatar reaction? It's not that I don't feel comfortable. I just don't want to react to it here on stream because I'm very careful about what goes into my videos. Oh, yeah, Nintendrovert. Yeah, I got the Rocco reference. Dawson Adams, nice to see you. We're going to all stream all night. He won't make it past 10. We're going to stream until 10. Yeah, that's Mean Girls reference. Nintendrovert. Nintendo made a Switch game called Ring Fit Adventure. Yeah, I think I've seen that. The Pizza Turtle. What up, Brandon? What up, Pizza Turtle? Sun chips or Ruffles? Sun chips. The garden salsa variety. It's pretty good. Let's see. FNAF on fire. The Nintendo Wii was discontinued. Yeah, sadly. I wish if they brought it back, I would buy one tomorrow. 100%. Wii Sports. Yep, I would play Wii Sports. Gabby, wait a minute. I lost my place. Gabby says ASMR, ASMR, ASMR. You got potential. Yes, indeed. The Rec Fan. All right, excellent. ASMR principal vids. Yeah, I don't think that's happening. But I did kind of imitate the Wii Fit yoga instructor because of the comment about Super Smash Brothers. Okay. Nintendo Rocky Rock says, talking about what Nintendrovert said. Mama Becca, do you like chocolate chip ice cream and a bit of vanilla ice cream? Not so much. I'm not as much of an ice cream person. Because it's tough for me to think about. It's tough for me not to think about the fact that it's just sugar and milk mixed together. I mean, that's all it is. Not saying I don't eat it ever, but it's not my favorite thing. SpongeBob shirt and tie. Yeah, I guess I didn't do that on purpose or anything like that. Have you ever thought about voice acting? No one's ever offered me that. If they did, I suppose I would do it, Kaimani, but I don't see it happening. Slicey Slicer, have I ever been to Las Vegas? I have never been to Las Vegas. I had to think about it for a minute. I've never been to Las Vegas. No. Start a podcast. Well, I already have this. I don't think I need to start a podcast if I've got this going on. Fairly Odd Parents. Gabby says coffee and chocolate. Yep, that is my combo. That's my combination for sure. Hungry for lunch. El Chavo del Ocho. Yeah, a few people have said that. I'll check it out. La Escuelita. Hola, señor principal. No sabía que hablas español también, pero gracias por las recomendaciones. Sad Doggo. Can't talk anymore. Sad Doggo. Maybe I need Wii Fit. Yeah. Nowadays it's VR. I have a couple of videos on my channel in VR, and sometimes I'll do the little exercise programs you can do on there, or exercise apps or whatever. Okay. Lathan Lopez, English dub. But I want the Spanish is what I want. That's why he said that, because I've been wanting to react to something in Spanish if I can. All right. Toontails official. Does your school force vaccines without the parents' permission? No. In fact, I don't think they do that anywhere. What you mean is, do they require vaccines? And pretty much all schools are going to require some level of immunizations. When you say force vaccines, you mean like take the needle and put it in someone without their consent? No. So, but there are immunizations you have to go to most public schools, yes. That's been that way for decades. The Rec Fan, in cartoons, the cafeteria food is always shown as disgusting. Sometimes it is like that in real life. Other times it's really, really good. It just depends on where you're at. Jaden Sharp, has a school ever had lice that you worked at? Yes, unfortunately. Nintendrovert, I second Billy and Mandy's suggestion. I'd love to see his reaction to Principal Good Vibes. Jack Moon, summer camps that I've worked at have had lice outbreaks. Yeah, it's an unfortunate reality. Dawson Adams, dress as Tom Segura for Halloween. Oh, yeah. I forgot the Crubs thing. Let me see if I can cue that up for you guys. I'm going to have to not look at the chat for a minute. I will give you the preview and let you... I want to see what you think here. All right. So... let's view this. I'm going to have to pause it real quick. Whoop, pause it. Okay. So let me see. So this will come out on either October 29th or 30th. So let me see if I can do this correctly. If I move this over, If I move... Oh, wait a second. That was not right. Hold on. I got to refresh it. So screen capture. I have to switch to that. Okay, now it should be correct. Let me move me over. Oh, no. I'm falling. No. Okay, I just had to do that. I can't help it. Okay, so let me move the chat box over, and you see it's me dressed as Krubs. So this is a little short I made. This will be coming out next week. It's only 5 seconds long. Here it is. Let's see if you guys can hear it. There it is. I'll let it go one more time. Yeah, that's good enough, isn't it? Okay, let me pull him back over and pull me back over. Oh, no. Okay, all right. That's enough of that. I won't do that again. Okay, chat. I'm going to have to find my place. My window is all gone. Oh, hold on. I have to get it back. Okay, here's my chat. All right. So that was a little preview of me dressed as Krubs doing the short, and then I react to the last episode in that outfit, the Krubs costume. You can thank Ricky Rack's channel member for that. All right, let me go to where I left off. Dawson Adams with the Tom Segura comment threw me because we look a lot like each other. Okay. You guys are talking about the school lunches. Gabby says the Spanish dub of SpongeBob is funny. He's like Esponja de Bob o algo así. No recuerdo bien cómo se llama. All right. Let's see. Jaden Sharp, has a school you ever worked for had a virus? Yeah, particularly during the pandemic, if that's what you're talking about. Yes, for sure. Okay, scrolling down in the chat. Hungry for lunch. Me encanta ver tus reacciones de Bob Esponja y muchos más. Gracias. And will you still be playing the SpongeBob games on live or individual videos? At some point I'll do it. Even if it's a pre-recorded video, I will do it. Fred Figglehorn says hi. Sir Cashpen, yep, I was falling and I can't get up. I'm not quite that old. I'm old, but I'm not that old, okay. Miss T, you liked that, did you? The Rec Fan, that's simply amazing. Heisenberg, Green Laser, Brandon looking like he stepped out of Miami Vice. Well, I mean, that's what Krubs is, right? That's what he's like. Okay. Losing my chat. Have to find my place. Give me just a minute here. Hold on. Scrolling down. Okay, found my place. I'm going to have to quit a minute, but not just yet. What is your school ranking? Best school or not? Not sure what you mean. John Smith, watch Ned's final Ned's video. You're fired. Yeah. Gabby, not again. Yep. Fell off. I don't know if you mean me falling off the screen. Hungry for lunch. Yeah, I couldn't do the triple glasses, but I did the one. Kaimani Burrell, that is amazing. The facial expression after the glasses came off is great. Jaden Sharp, who's worse, Strickland or Slicer from, I assume you mean Principal Strickland from Back to the Future? Or Slicer from Recess? That's a tough one. I would probably say Strickland's better, but they're both horrible. It's like saying one is like 1% less horrible than the other one. They're both awful and have no business in any school. User says, love it. Fred Figglehorn, is this how you have fun? by eating your own kind. I don't know why I love that line so much from SpongeBob Ditchin'. 9 plus 10, 19. Spanish dub of Simpson is hilarious. 6-7. Please don't start. Please don't start. JFL, did your school lock down during COVID? Locking down means something different. We did go to a virtual setting for a period of time, so I guess that's what you mean. What do you think of Bob Ross? He painted a lot of happy little clouds. Spanish video on Cinco de Mayo, I doubt it. Have you ever heard of the Chicken Stars meme? No. Sponge Dude, Sandy from 1999. Did I get COVID? I think I did get COVID at some point in time during the pandemic. It's impossible to really know whether it was COVID or not. Jaden Sharp, is this Krusty Krab? No, this is Patrick. Yep. Back to the Future. Yep. FNAF on fire. People complain about in school the lack of classes that prepare students for adulthood. However, when I was in school, there were a ton of classes for that. Yeah, a lot of schools do have classes for that. I'm going to have to get up in a minute. Oh man. A lot of schools do have classes like that. But there's a bunch of classes that the school has to offer no matter what per the state legislature, so they don't have a whole lot of choice. They have some choice, but not a lot. Nintendrovert. When I was in school, I had a few different teachers who were vocal about their personal political beliefs in the classroom. Would you discipline them for this? Yes. You're not allowed to do that because you're not allowed to. There's a lot of things you're not allowed to do in the classroom because parents send their students to school to learn the content. They don't send their students to school to be influenced politically. That's not your job. Now, if you are a social studies teacher, you are allowed to talk about elections, the voting process. You're allowed to talk about the candidates that are running for office. I always have to kind of watch this anytime there's a presidential election here in the U.S., like in 2024 and 2020. However, you just have to be careful about how you phrase it, and you have to stay professional, not favoring one candidate over the other. But you are allowed to discuss it and talk about it because it relates to your standards. Hungry for lunch. Patricio, ¿te gusta mi reloj? No? Like my clock. Or watch, whatever. Midnight Kitten, the teacher in Recess seems quite cool. 6-7. Yeah, I did say that. Lathan Lopez, how do you feel about cursive? I don't see it as that necessary, but some people do. I usually don't get too excited about that. Sad Doggo, imagine if schools had to compete with one another. I'd watch that anime. Green Laser, I don't understand where the heck 6-7 came from or why it's so popular. Few do. It just sort of came out of nowhere. It's completely meaningless. People love saying it. I've just sort of accepted it. All right. More chat messages just loaded for me. Getting tired. I'll do a few more and then stop. Toontail, are there any charter schools in Georgia? Tons of charter schools. Zach Flakerton, YouTube putting ads in the middle of a live stream is absolutely insane. I'm sorry about that. I need to go see if I can adjust the settings on that. Would you work at McDonald's or the Krusty Krab? I think I would have to say the Krusty Krab. It seems like fun, at least sometimes. Dawson, now that baseball season is basically over, who should my new PFP be? Do not know. When did you learn cursive? I learned cursive in like 3rd or 4th grade, I think. Jaden Sharp, would you rather work at the recess school or the school from Gumball? Probably recess. The Gumball seems a bit dangerous. 2028 will be an election year. Yep. Kevin James or Jack Black? Probably Jack Black. Hensel Molina says they were at Olive Garden. Okay. FNAF, how do you feel about age verification policies? Honestly, don't know a whole lot about it. I think my content's pretty safe because I don't put bad stuff in my videos. Gabby says, I used to do cursive until middle school. I did learn how to write cursive, but I don't ever use it today. I can, but I don't. Gabby, ¿qué es más gracioso que 24, 25? De Bob Esponja. Fred Figglehorn, Brandon, you're fired from the Krusty Krab for eating your own kind. Hylam Bryan, now one of my teachers, we had a little joke about liking a president because he was reaching 100 IDK, if she would get in trouble for that. You really have to watch it when it comes to political speech. You just do. I think, Gabby, with that, it was 20, was it 24 and 25? I honestly don't remember. Let's see. Glaython, age verification is kind of nonsense since kids lie about their age. Yeah, I mean, there is that. Hungry for lunch. Why do they allow favoritism in schools? Like, some teachers try to be friends with specific people, and why the administrator... You're not supposed to. Does it happen? Yes. You have to try to be fair in everything that you do. Kaimani Burrell. Yeah, cursive was a requirement in Jamaica and then became optional but recommended for high school. Okay. An introvert. Did my last comment get hidden? I don't know if it did or not. Samantha, cursive was never really enforced. Fred Figglehorn. I made Brandon laugh. Yes, you did. All right. That is the end, I think. I'm going to have to stop. Okay, the clock says 2.5 hours. That's, as these streams go, that's a pretty long time. So I'm going to have to stop. Thank you for joining the stream. Thank you for the donations. I cannot see them anymore because the chat has been so long. It was William Armstrong, I think it was, that donated. And then also user 1414 donated as well, which I really appreciate. So thank you all for that. But I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. I hate to do that, but I'm going to have to end the stream. Hope you all have a good evening. I hope you tune in tomorrow. If you're not a channel member, tune in tomorrow for, what is it? That's embarrassing if I don't even know what it is. But you have to understand, I watched these like a long time ago. One Crab's Trash. That one was pretty funny. But I'll see you all next time. Hopefully you all enjoyed the stream. Thanks for all your comments and all of your time just hanging out on the channel, the 40 or 50 of us that were here. But I'm going to end the stream now. Have a great rest of your evening or morning, if it's morning where you are, for our international viewers. But I'll see you on the next one and on the next video tomorrow. Have a great evening.